Gotta go. Girl talk.
Boom! Hard in! Welcome to Gotham City tonight. We will have a guest joining us in a little bit, but right now you got me. It's Doell, chilling here. I don't know. I don't do anything special, Alex. I'm just some guy. I just host things.
Just chill.
I just chill.
Chill with your Batman, Superman hat there.
That's it. That's all I have. That's all I have to keep me going. Alex Brewer, welcome.
Ryan Doell. I got paid today.
Ooh, what's that? What does that
This comes with the Moth Poison Ivy. It's like she has like a case of money. I just have it lying around here. So
do I start getting those? Like what do I've been on the fence with those. Same with like anything Mezco as well. I've always been like, do I do it? Then I look around and I go, where do I put it?
Yeah, I mean, Mezco seems like a very slippery slope. Having seen them all in the cases at the conventions, they're absolutely beautiful figures. But like, it's true. I kind of feel like it's like either all or nothing. It's like I'll just not do it because otherwise where do you stop? You know, like
where do you start? Well, here I know where I want to start. I want to start with Dick Tracy and Popeye.
Yeah, but then are you then not going to get the like classic Batman and Robin and Joker and Two-Face from like the Dick Sprang era?
Like, dude, but even when they do the modern Batman stuff and villains, I'm still just like, yeah, those look fun. I could take those to the sandbox.
Oh,
it would be a good idea to take to the sandbox. But you know what I mean? Like,
right.
They make me want to play, which is the whole point of toys.
But yeah, and Moth is like great for like they're super articulated. I would say so. The Moth Dark Knight Returns Batman Carrie Kelly 2-pack is like so awesome. Their Joker is like phenomenal. Their Nightwing is pretty good.
Okay,
it's pretty fun. So those are my recommends. Poison Ivy was not that like happy with.
Their classic Spider-Man also looks really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
With all the accessories, because you got that one too, didn't you?
No. I just have Batman Moth.
I'm just dreaming. I'm making shit up in my head. In my head canon, you own that Spider-Man.
I am that Spider-Man.
You are that Spider-Man.
Don't tell anyone.
Yes, Spider Brew. That's my favorite one. I also, dude. Oh, we're gonna get into it. I love how I don't know if you watched Toy Anxiety last night, but Jay got really smug. He's like, they're calling this one Wolverine. he got a little smug, and I was like, no, that's awesome. Like,
we got to have the Wolverine and the Dolverine duke it out.
Why do we have to fight? Why can't we just go for a drink?
We'll team up against Jabertooth.
Yeah, let's do that. Good punch. It'll be awesome. All right, let's say hello to everybody here in the chat. We're gonna get into some. I guess we're gonna talk some toy news. There's one comic I want to bring up from Marvel that got announced today, which I thought was kind of fun. But in the meantime, let's say hello to everybody here at Gotham. We got Toy Fars, who's here at 1 p.m. I hope you've been waiting all day, and I hope it's been worth the wait. Stanley Eckhart is here, and yes, everyone's going to need that Clayface. We're going to talk. I want to talk deep about the making of that toy because I had no idea until Hatter, who is here.
Shit.
Here having a vodka. He's breaking this thing down. I got to talk about it. We all had to talk about it.
Mad Hatter invading Gotham City tonight.
That's right.
I am.
He's here to kidnap your daughters. If they're so careful.
They did. They tied her up. They sent me a threatening letter.
He said, "Yeah."
Going on, boys.
Nice. Hang on. We're just saying hello to the chat.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we'll say. Then we'll say
about the chat. These peasants in the chat.
I care. These aren't Ghostbusters fans. These are Batman fans. We treat them with respect.
Yeah.
All right.
Dignified.
Yes, they're real people. They have taste. right? Video Power Gaming's here. Cougar McGillicuddy, Make Mine Marvel Legends. He's going to be part of the replay crew. The Ryan Doell fan club is here as well. Nick Dillinger, Andrews Gady's Toys. Be sure to go subscribe to his channel. It is amazing. Quip is here. Thank God, because he'll be able to help us remember everything that we're forgetting. Marlo Brandon is here. The Culture Vulture, Deep Space Niner, Cicero Holcomb. I butchered that. I absolutely butchered
That's
that.
what I would go with.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah.
Cicero Holcomb?
Sure.
Oh my God. I'm going to take Spanish lessons. That's what I'm going to do next year. I'm going to learn Spanish, and I'm going to learn how to pronounce Luis Balsarero. I can never do this.
Ballesteros.
Ballesteros.
No,
I don't know why I
that's
did
like
Italian.
Italian.
See,
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
because you're from New York. That's why you did that. That is why you. There's no other way around it. You're originally from New York. You just can't
Forget
help
about
yourself.
Born and raised, everybody.
My favorite dude and the guy who provides for this channel, Mr. Matt Bush, is here. Thank you. Dorlaxian, Johnny Disco. God, I really like that name. Posable Productions is here. Tovercon. Johnny Cock, one of my favorite dudes. Great guy. If you ever see him at a convention, go buy his prints. Buy 3 of them, maybe 4. Thunderhausen. Or Thunderhouse Design, but I always say Thunderhausen. I can't help it.
Read that too.
Yeah. SA is here. And Chad Stewart. I said it perfect.
Sick.
That's awesome.
Good,
Thank
good
you.
on
Thank you.
buddy.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, friendly YouTuber guy.
It's just me, guys. The friendly YouTuber guy just being super friendly.
That's funny. In the comment section on Yes Have Some, I was referred to that other guy.
I mean, are they wrong? Are they wrong?
No, they're not.
I thought that you were referred to as that guy with the horrible personality.
Well, someone else said that too. So,
hey, that's also my name. What the hell?
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's happening. It's like we got Bizarroverse happening. I don't know if you guys saw. We did an unboxing of the 2 in the box on the Yes Have Some Prime channel, Craig and I, because we got ours just a little early for whatever reason. We got ours early. We decided, hey, you know what? Let's do an unboxing. Let's beat Jay Glatfelter from Geek Dad Life. Let's beat him to the punch, Mr. I Gotta Be First. Right? So let's beat him to the punch. Let's do this. And people were like, not everybody. We had a lot of good support in the comments. So I want to make sure people know that. But holy moly, there's like a handful of dudes that are just like, why can't I get by? And I'm just like, who are you?
Well,
like,
just say, go back in time, invest 5 to 10 years of your life in creating a channel, and then the gates of Shangri-La will open, and you might just get something. How's that? How's that for some advice?
Yeah, but the whole thing is, don't start a channel in the hopes and dreams and expectations that you're gonna get something.
No, that's not true. My first video, I said I'm expecting to get free things, and I will only continue if I get that support. And people were like, I'm for it. And I just, from the beginning, I said, no. I didn't.
You got to have that game plan. You know, you got to be like the penguin. You have to set your sights very high and do whatever it takes to get them.
That's right. And then at the end, I kill John. No, wait, I don't want to.
No spoilers are next week. We're gonna do a spoiler review.
I said I was gonna kill John. I said I was gonna kill Johnny Nostalgia.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it's not spoiling anything.
But you mean that's a spoiler? I didn't know you were gonna.
Johnny New Toys is Johnny Nostalgia?
AKA Johnny New Toys. I think that kid's a little cocky for the amount of time he's been in the YouTube space. Let's face it, he's amassed a following, but it's kind of like a cheat following. You know what I mean? It's like Dragon Ball. Like so.
Well, he puts he puts toy boobs on his thumbnail, so he's kind of
wow, what a revolutionary. Hey John, are you watching? What a fucking revolutionary concept, John. Oh, I got boobs there. And then here's the problem with John. Okay, then he pretends he's above it. Then he goes like, man, all of these thirst trap guys or whatever. That's you. You're doing that.
AKA Johnny Hentai. That's
thank you. Dude, Johnny Hentai. That's a perfect name for him. That's
actually has kind of a ring to it, but you know, hate the game, not the player, right?
Yeah,
but
Johnny Hentai is like, it's almost like a Guy Ritchie gangster character, like Johnny Hentai. You know, like there's something.
I heard he married his anime pillow. Yeah, married to a pillow.
What's with all the tentacles on the wall, Johnny?
Oh man.
He's not even here, and we're just like, we just dove right into just.
I hope that guy has such an ego. He finds people to talk. His ears just start playing. He's like, I wonder who's talking about. He'll find us. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry, Gotham tonight, people. Don't worry.
Let's big shout out to Video Power Gaming. Thank you for the $4.99. Doell has a great personality. Thank you. That's what women write on the bathroom walls.
Well, saying you have a
great personality.
I mean, if somebody says you have a bad personality, is that the same as saying you're good looking? You know, I'd take it as a compliment.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's true. Yeah.
Doell,
right? and you know, chicks love a personality.
Yeah,
that's true.
Regardless of quality. As long as you have personality.
Exactly. Matt Bush with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Says Doell, while hoping he will get to reveal Marvel Legends on a Hasbro to stream. Listen, I'm not asking for a free Marvel Legend. I'm asking, my hope is to unveil one.
Don't pretend like you don't have Rachel Summers under that hat.
Oh, dude, that's the dream. That is the dream. Is that one, because that's the one that finishes Excalibur.
Yeah, that's the only one we're waiting to see revealed.
Right? The only one that would suffice to do for a reveal would be Slapstick. That would be the only other reveal.
You mean the movie with Paul Newman?
Paul Newman, yeah. Maybe if they did
Hockey Brothers?
What is it, 1980s David Letterman Marvel Legends, I'd be down with that. I'd be okay with that.
He must have been in the comics at one point. Like,
he was on the cover of Avengers.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Right? Yeah. That was a big deal, right? But I was never in it for because honestly, I never thought Toy Anxiety would get as far as it did, where companies even knew we existed. Straight up.
So I have to. So real quick, Ryan, you have to get this to Ryan Ting that they should reveal Rachel Summers when they finally do reveal her. Have it tucked under his shirt, and at the end of a live stream, it's over, and it just falls out of his shirt. They're like, "All right, that's all done," and then it just falls onto the floor, and they're like, "Oh, we weren't supposed to show that." Like,
yeah.
That would be the best reveal ever.
Or they do the reveal, and then somehow it cuts to me at home just being sad that it wasn't me.
No.
You have your hand like you're trying to pretend like you're holding it on your computer screen.
Right? Andrew, Gatey's Toys, Johnny Tentacles.
Johnny Tentacles.
Too. I like that as well. Johnny Cobb with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Doell, under that hard exterior is the best personality. Also, alcohol. I don't drink that much.
They're on to
you're from Canada.
Yeah, they're on to me, I think. What is happening? Right? Let's, yeah, awesome. Cool. Thank you. Oh, John's here too. Doell loves the ladies and they love him back. Oh, right. That's very sweet. Thank you, everyone. I wasn't fishing for compliments, but thank you.
No.
It is very nice. It is very, very nice.
I think it's obvious you were.
It's with that said, when it comes time for the 1/6 scale Mad Hatter figure, I expect a full Hatter render head for that.
I mean, I have a famously difficult face to hundreds of companies have tried. Okay.
Hey, this is Mondo. They got
Harrison Ford of YouTubers, where it's just, you can't, it's like the nose. There's something, you know, every Harrison Ford is just a little off. It's like Alex, you probably know more about this than anybody. It's like
it's hard.
A lot of companies, they stumble on that likeness for some reason.
Another one they stumble on too is Kurt Russell, but I feel like Mondo nailed it.
Yeah.
No, Mondo nailed. What were the stumbled Kurt Russells? What, like the NECA? I don't know. I don't know if I saw it up close enough to know if they dropped the ball on it.
Yeah, he is tough though. It's not so much that you can pinpoint it where it's like the Kurt Russell figures from NECA when they did Thing, they look good, but you still know where it's there, but it's not all there. And that could also land on a paint job though too. And the sculpt could still be awesome.
The McCready that Mondo did is really good, and so is the Nada. That's really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the best interpret. Well, there's Hot Toys. Hot Toys just covers all that shit, I guess. The 1/6 scale
stuff. Sean Dabbs, who we've talked about a lot on this channel, who did the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, does an amazing Kurt Russell. From any movie. Like if you check out his Instagram,
Sly Stallone too, he does really well.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of likenesses, you guys probably saw it, but that fucking I can curse you, right? Though.
Yeah. This isn't no. This isn't PG life.
Yeah, I don't. Well, GDL and all his rules. He makes you sign that stupid thing. What was it? Jazz. Is it Jazz? Not Jazz Wares. Jazz Inc.
Yeah.
Jazz Inc. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's that sculptor. Yeah,
Sean Dabbs. Yeah.
Dude, if that Michelle Pfeiffer comes out, I don't know anything about that company other than they make cars, but if that Michelle Pfeiffer can come out like the way the renders look, it's gonna be a killer in the 1/6 scale.
Yeah,
I know, but did you go in on it, Hatter? I've got mine pre-ordered, and my fingers are crossed. Fingers and toes are crossed that it comes out looking like Viola Witraka did the Paint Master. In the solicitation photos and stuff. If they can get it looking even
close,
even close in the ballpark, I'd be happy.
I took a flyer on it yesterday actually because somebody, I guess there's a thing where you have to find the right site because they don't sell all over.
Oh yeah,
they don't have. Yeah,
we've talked about it on this show. I will find you the link there.
No, I have it. I was able to order it yesterday, so I'm in.
Oh,
I took a chance. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't go hard. I don't know how hard you went, Alex, but I went battle damaged, and I'm good. I don't know if I did the 2-pack and everything, but yeah.
I still haven't yet because I'm worried about what it's going to be like Canadian-ish.
Yes, right.
So I'm super nervous about it. So I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I also really want it because it's just that's my girl. That's
yeah.
And it's a bit of a dice roll because they haven't done other 1/6 scale human figures before.
Right.
This is the first one. Their cars, their vehicles, and everything are immaculate.
Yeah.
But that's very different from delivering a Hot Toys quality product. But they've been very transparent about their process, working with the factories and everything. And I think at the end of the day, it just might take time. It'll take the time that it takes. It's a little they're doing just an open order. So I don't know how many orders they've gotten for this thing, but
I saw that. It's it's an open order system. But I feel and I agree with what you said. It's their cars are really nice. Their cars are super cool. But I feel like they would almost have, I could be wrong, but I feel like they would almost have something to prove in this space. So I feel like they're going to fucking go for it and try to, because if this lands and it's, it's not good, I think then it's they have now nuked a lot of future business in that scale. So I don't know. I the hope and a prayer. I was just I'm just gonna put down money on it. It's probably gonna take 2 years to come out anyway. Whatever.
For sure.
So
And what got me was just the passion around this project. Makes it feel special because they've been developing this figure for as far as I've been aware, a year, watching it evolve and the sculpt's getting better and them sort, and again, they've kind of documented the whole process of sourcing the materials for the costume and working out the articulation in the body and all that. So they've it's clearly a labor of love. So it's all right, I'm down to go on
Yeah,
that.
you have to
adventure.
at some point follow passion.
Yeah,
Like passion is a big thing, because if that can, I think that's what's going to make them, for lack of a better word, responsible for going like, this has to land in a way that like, and we won't accept anything less. And again, their cars are really nice, so there's no reason. I mean, look at that. Look at this.
Yeah,
it's real.
They even got like the crooked, like everything about it is fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
It's. I hope they do Grease 2. Scale figures. You know,
Ryan, can you ban Kyle, please? He's
okay.
He's trying to stir up trouble. That guy,
Kyle. Yeah, be
You
nice.
bumped me for this.
Yes.
You bumped me for Mad Hatter.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, thank
that
you.
was that was awesome, dude. That was,
Oh, yeah, I'll try.
I felt like I was there.
yeah, dude. That's like, yeah. Is there a new episode on tonight? Like, what is happening?
Give me a few minutes, I'll get my fat suit and we'll
Oh, dude, that would be unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. All right. I want to get into your, like, we were going to talk about other news while we were waiting for you, Hatter, but you got here pretty much like on time, right?
Yeah, my wife took kid duty, so I thought I was going to be like 30 minutes late, but I was able to jump in.
Nah, it's all good.
I don't know how long, but I'm in it right now, guys. Okay.
Because we were talking about process of things, I want to talk about Alex's process. I want to go through the breakdown.
I like how you say process, by the way.
Process, like process.
Yeah, I like how you say process. I do like that.
Process.
Right? Because I'm a professional.
This
is how it goes. Thank you, Jacob Walsh, for these awesome photos.
Ooh.
I want to talk about this Clayface, and then we're gonna get it. Like, this was because Hatter, you got to like touch it.
I touched it, bro.
Yeah.
I got second base. with this Clay. Alex, were you there at all? Or
no.
Okay.
Hatter, you have had more hands-on experience with this figure than I have.
Everybody, put your hand to the screen. Chat, people in the chat, you can touch the hand. Then you can touch this Clayface. By the way, I didn't even. Peter was like, "Do you want to hold?" And I was like, "Are you asking me if I want to fucking hold this beautiful thing?" And I did. And it was magical. Not too heavy, not too light. A nice balance. I could already tell this shit's not going to just fall over all the time because it's too heavy, or you're not going to breathe on it and it's just going to fall back. Everything was perfect. This was, Alex, I'm not saying this because you're here, because I said it before, but I feel like this was like the star of the show to me, and I didn't expect it to be the star of the show because it's the second time I've seen it, but I didn't see it with all his accoutrements. Yeah. And that's where I was like, holy shit.
When we showed this at San Diego Comic-Con, I was like, oh, just to wait, because it's a big figure, but we loaded him up because you have to. It's Clayface, right? It's like you have to have all the heads. You have to have all the different like shape shifting things, and but yeah, and this figure is a production sample. So what we showed at San Diego Comic-Con was like the 3D printed Paint Master. So that's sort of like the first phase before I think tooling had even been done at that point. This is like the production sample. So this is like what the final figure will be in all the materials that'll be with the paint that it'll have. And Hector, when he got this sent from the he was so excited. He was very jazzed about how the figure came out, like how it feels in hand. So it's I'm very excited to get it.
This looks insanely expensive. This looks like the most expensive 1/6 scale figure you're going to have on the site, just for the amount that it, just everything that it does. So for those of you who don't know,
I don't know. I do not know what the price will be.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, no one here knows the price yet. We're not even going to speculate. We're going to leave that to other channels who like to speculate. Hatter, you, like you said, you were touching this. You said it had the right feel. The one thing that you also displayed on your channel, which is, by the way, linked down in the description below. So if you're not linked in with Hatter's channel, Mad Hatter Reviews, click on that after this episode so that you can subscribe to it and see all his amazing booth tours. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Hatter does the best booth tours at any convention every year, every goddamn time.
What 100%.
They are the best. They are fun to watch. It's not, he's not just sitting there coddling balls to these people who make things. He gives them a little bit of grief and they give it back to him. It is so much fun to watch.
Thank you.
Hatter do his thing, and it's great.
And Mad Hatter, I was almost gonna, I meant to DM you, but I'll just say it now here. Like when you did the walkthrough of all of DesignerCon, it was so like, thank you for doing that, because like that convention is like, it's very inspiring because it's a lot of like, you know, independent artists and people trying new cool things. And I was sorry to have missed it this year, but getting to experience it through your videos and through your lens and your enthusiasm, like it was just really cool. Like you provided a service to everyone getting to see like the vibe of DesignerCon, you know, through your video. So thank you for
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
One of my favorite parts, when you go 50 minutes into that video, he does an interview with Jacob Wall, which is really, really funny. But my favorite part was, I didn't know you could exist outside the other two. And I just about died.
I thought that they were weirdly tethered to each other. I've not.
They are weirdly tethered to each other.
all I remember is you saying something about the traitor Ryan Doell.
Right, the traitor Ryan Doell.
Yeah.
Was,
well, no, he means like Trader Joe's or Trader Sam.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
like I'm good to have I'm a fun at a tiki bar. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
No, but I appreciate the kind words. It is these things are legitimately fun for me. If you look just at the channel, those are not the things that that's not quote unquote. I don't know that there's bread and butter anywhere, but it's usually turtle stuff or reviews or stuff like that. But I just have a lot of fun doing those. I legitimately have a lot of fun spotlighting artists. I know what it's like. Some people might not believe this, but to be an artist and to also like, you know, be like, hey, can somebody see my shit? And the half the game is, or 75% of the game is visibility. So I don't know. I legitimately have fun, even though I do talk a lot of shit. I legitimately have fun just going through there. And that one is so different because that one is so artistic based. It is not, there's no movie studios there. Not really, you know, it's not like Marvel has a presence there. It's not like, you know, anything. It's like the purest, concentrated designers, whether you like them or not. And again, there's my taste is just, I'm one dumb opinion, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that people find, you know, something they like. But it's a nice, I'm happy they got a different venue, and it's nice. It's a nice dynamic, and it's kind of cool. You go to Vegas. It made it feel different. They used to be in Anaheim. So, you know, it's just a different way to expose, in a good way, artists. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree.
And now, Mad Hatter, I saw you were on Fremont Street at one point, but did you do the zip line Fremont experience?
I did not, only because by the time I was in Fremont, so me and my buddy, we drove up there Friday. We did the quickest sweep on Fremont, and then we literally had to go because most of my footage I took on Friday night, which was a 4-hour. That whole thing I did was pretty much just the 4 hours, and then I did 1 hour the next day. So there wasn't a lot of time. We just kind of like went down Fremont Street, just saw the insanity. If you've never been on Fremont Street, it's like if you've been on the Vegas Strip, imagine you take that and you dial. It's like Gotham. Speaking of, it is as close to Gotham as you get. It's like there's just craziness around every corner.
You're both inside and outside at the same time.
Yes, weirdos in costume.
No, it's wild. It's a scene, but and it's much more intense than the Strip. But yeah, man, I wish I had more time. It was one of those things, and then I had to get back on Saturday. I have a toddler, so it's kind of like do my thing, get back. Maybe next time. We saw the Sphere. We saw a movie at the Sphere, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
And there's a Darren Aronofsky. He does a Sphere movie called Postcards from Earth. It's $100 a ticket. Whoa. It's $100 to watch a movie, but it's an experience. So I recommend if you go and you love movies like I do, you go watch it. But yeah, it was so not a lot of time to hang out in Fremont. Most time spent at DesignerCon just trying to see as much. And even then I missed stuff. I had other people texting me. I get a lot of texts from other artists and they're like, oh, dude, I wish you could have come and by. And it's like, I wish I had just more time to walk around.
That's a great problem to have. Especially on something like, that's good. I'm just going to just quickly up some super chats here. We got another one, $5 from Johnny Cog. You know what else has passion? Dole's great personality. Thanks.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Very true.
I guess, right? Deep Space Niner with the 1999. Thank you very much. In all seriousness, Johnny Nostalgia is a good dude. Okay. With a good heart. Okay.
Take your word for it.
Yeah. As our Dole Brewer Hatter and most people in this community.
You have to say that.
Yeah, that's correct. Y'all have helped me through some tough times, which and I appreciate a whole bunch of you feelings. No, it's all good. Thank you, Deep Space Niner. We're happy to be here to make people forget about shit sometimes, because
Yeah, guys.
Although looking at Clayface doesn't help.
Though, here we go. We're going to talk about this jerkwad named Clayface. We're going to get right back into it. I know we totally derailed, but we're coming back to it, folks. Clayface. This is I want to also point out there are no it's like seamless joints except for around the head and the wrists, correct?
So the arms are seamless.
Right.
And then part of the abdomen is seamless. So he has a torso joint, but his the waist is seamless. And this seemed like a good figure to do that with, because he has kind of natural folds in the clay anyway. So we decided originally we thought about having his entire torso be seamless, but then we realized we could get a little more range of motion, and there's a perfect, in his design, there's a perfect fold along his sort of rib cage that is well, we'll put the cut there and that'll look fine, and he'll be able to move really well. So
so this is where I want to get into your process. Oh, go ahead, Hatter. Go ahead.
No, that's what actually, just to co-sign that, was so impressive about the articulation is on any other figure, the fold of an elbow moving this way would be that's weird. Now you have folded skin, but it was fucking perfect on this, because it gave it this clay, it gave it this organic kind of that's how a man made of clay would look if things were folded. There's no joints. So I was like, man, that's it. You guys really went hard on this. There's a lot of different things that were thought of, and the way everything was hidden, it's so smart. And I just love it. You're right. It's the folds just land in this perfect, especially most noticeable on that elbow. It's very, very prominent.
Yeah, it's like this character, because a lot of other companies are starting to use seamless bodies and that sort of thing, and so we've never done that with one of our figures before, and this seemed like a good opportunity for those reasons, because it's on a human arm, it's muscles contract and they do all kinds of stuff underneath the surface of the skin, and you're never going to get that with a soft, even if you have a hard plastic piece under it and then kind of a soft sleeve over it, which I think is how most Hot Toys, when they do a seamless arm or something, that's sort of what they do. Things aren't going to quite compress quite right, but we wanted to start working with the material. We wanted to, find a durable, I know some people have been bringing up this, when you have a softer, more rubbery material, sometimes it degrades over time. There's some concern around that. That was a concern of ours too. And so we wanted to make sure we found the right material that was going to be strong, like we looked at like the DC universe Swamp Thing, which was like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from like, I don't know, 15 years ago at this point, or 12 years ago. Like this is the Mattel Swamp Thing, and that had a seamless rubbery body, and I think Peter has it, and it's like still holds up, and like so
Cool.
we tried to kind of like match that and find like a very durable soft material that like would still feel good and still move right. So yeah,
Right.
the
This is the one thing I'm noticing with 1/6 scale figures. I'm gonna just call them out. This is from Hot Toys. If you're getting a character that's like that has bare arms, they're doing like the hidden joints. They even say straight up like, "Hey, don't leave the arm bent. It's gonna crack and it's gonna break."
Yeah.
And the same thing is even with the Spider-Man costumes. Like if you want to keep it a dynamic pose, you're going to wear out. It's going to, stretch out and ruin the costume. And that was kind of like I was about to ask that about like, what steps you guys went ahead to kind of like make sure that doesn't happen with him. And there's the magnet inside as well.
Yeah. Magnets definitely lose their strength over time. But I don't know. I mean, nothing lasts, right? Like we don't last,
But this will last over a week, so don't
yeah,
worry.
no, the magnet will be strong for a good long while. Like the magnets in my Magneto are still going strong. But
Nice.
but yeah, I mean, it's like these are considerations that, and we want the figure to last and like hold its value and everything. And we've so it is about finding that balance. And like Hector worked with the factory to like, we tried out a lot of different like rubber and soft plastic materials and things, and to find the right one that like felt right, that felt durable, but still gave you that nice flex and was going to last. So
yeah, there's a few questions here in the chat for you on this. Let's just kind of jump right on in. Thunderhouse Design. Alex, how much do you look at the original DC Direct Collectibles designs when you sculpt these? Do you try to go from scratch without looking at it?
Well, not to brag, but I do have an almost complete collection of the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series figures. I was collecting that from the very beginning, so I know those figures very well.
Yeah, dude, I love those toys.
I love them. I still have them all.
Yeah, they're so good. But at the same time, I kind of know, like as a hardcore Batman the Animated Series fan, like I kind of know what I would do differently with each one of those, like and obviously like hindsight's going to be 2020. So I sort of have the luxury of being the second person to attempt to make these figures. So like that Clayface was cool, but like I definitely, and he's like right over, like I have him on a shelf over there. So yeah, I've got the figure, but I definitely know like what I always knew going into it, like what I would do differently. Sort of the main things for me was like the kind of the head shape, and then also those like it's like specific, but like those like shoulder, like he's got these like kind of shoulder pads, like it kind of like builds up around his shoulders, and the DC Collectibles one didn't really have that, but I feel like it's so characteristic of the like, certainly like the way the like Japanese studio like animated Clayface in those episodes. So I definitely want to include that. His like the proportions, because it's like he's got these like little legs, and this photo is making it look more exaggerated than it is, but like he's got little legs, but they're not too little, so it's like getting that like that tapering of the body right. So those are all things that I was like, I knew going into it, like that I wanted to like do differently. But yeah, I love it. But yeah, those original figures are so awesome.
No, you did a great. I think you definitely capitalize on all of the, whenever you like watch animation, there's always a point where you can, especially if it's like, and like, yeah, there's some people don't know. It's like the guys that made Akira, the animators, they did this episode. They did that first Matt Hagen run where the two-parter, this and that, and like what I think you do really well, and it's not just on this sculpt, is like whenever you watch like a great piece of animation, at some point you can pause it on the best like face that the character makes. You know what I mean? It's like it's like tough to explain. It's something you see. It's like relegated to 2D art. And so you found like those faces that were like the best like moment in time, like when he's shooting the grapple hook and like he's got kind of like the crooked of the mouth and this and that. I also believe that has to come from like a fan. Like that has to come from somebody. It's like embroiled. You think of like Disney is also a great example, like Renaissance Disney. Like it's like you think of like Scar, and you think of like one face that Scar makes, and you're like, that's like, and like I think you do a great job of like finding those definitive, especially because here in a figure like this, you have the luxury of having 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4 heads and then a Batman head. So I just love the idea of being able to like mix and match and use those. And like this really is something where I don't want to put those in a box. Like I want to display. I want to find a way just to display it.
Have a light box and
or like something like that, or make it work, or hang it on like the detolf behind, or do something.
Yeah, well, and having that little like puddle is a great way to like display some of the. You can at least display like 2 heads at once, and that was a Bob Fulkerson, who works at Mondo. That was an idea of his, because there's that scene where like Clayface jumps from the building and he lands into this puddle, and then he's just kind of like a head. He's like draining into like a sewer grate, and he just kind of has his like that smiling head as he's like getting sucked up.
I love it, man.
I mean, that was like I also like one of the things I love about getting to like work at Mondo, like work on 1/6 scale like premium figures where we get to do all of the accessories, is it's like for a character like Clayface, like doing all these heads, getting to represent like all those different parts of his personality, because it's like you got to have the smile, that like creepy smiling head, because he's a tragic character, but he's also like a bully, and you can see he kind of delights in being cruel to people. When he's starting to like get the groove of his powers, like he's like really beating up Batman, like he's smiling, like he is enjoying it. And so like that's what makes you not really feel too bad for the guy. Like he's still a villain. He's still like a very bad person. But then also you got
if you haven't seen that 2-parter episode, it's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Again, like you were saying too, with like 2D animation, specifically, it's I find Batman animated series, like you said, old school Disney. And the one thing that we always said when we're working on Spider-Verse movies, every frame is a painting.
Yeah.
Right.
And that all applies to this. And I think that's why it's so easy to get all these like dynamic portraits, as Mondo likes to call them.
Well, because I love animation. And a character like Clayface, like again, like getting to do like the the bat grapple shooting out of his head, and it is that kind of like it's like I really want to like convey like the motion of this character. Like this is a character, he's made out of clay, so he's like always like moving, and it's really fun. Like
this is a fun, like it just feels like it's in flux. Like it just had that like energy that it immediately took me back. I still get emotional when I think of that last scene where he has all the videos of him as different, like because he's an actor, and he has all the videos of the different parts that he played, and he's just going he just mind fucks him. It's such a good. This is such a part of like if you grew up in the 90s, like just a part of your childhood, and I really do think it's like it's like one of these things that you say this with every figure that kind of comes out because it's the newness. But I really think that this is kind of like the crowning jewel of like the Batman animated. I have them all up till now, but I feel like this is like a marker in time that's going to get like people that might not even have gone in on this to be like, look, man, I have a lot of memories of this Clayface. Funny enough, too, I will say this as well. I'm just going on the size that he was. If you like a big fuck off Clayface, this guy could work with a 1/12 scale line too.
Yeah.
Like my buddy mentioned that. He's like, dude, like, I know it doesn't make sense in scale, but like you could have this. I did the same shit with that Juggernaut, that Sofubi fucking Juggernaut. I put him next to a Marvel Legend Hulk, and there's like a weird, not weird, but it somehow fits. So like,
yeah, he's enormous in Marvel versus Capcom. He's like as big as
that's
a house,
what I mean.
right?
Like they play in that way. So you could do that's why I think this is one of these like figures that I think could like even stretch out beyond the purists that are like, nah, I just, you know, I'm just in this line, I'm just in that or whatever. It really is something to like behold.
He is, yeah, he's awesome. I agree. And dude, it's no, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna save my thought. I'm locking that in there. I'm saving that thought. I want to go back to it. I'll come back to it.
Is it about how good the Clayface music theme is too?
Oh,
like,
dude, we'll get into that quickly. They Alex, also, if you can't answer any questions, just say you can't really answer that. Alex, can Mondo do characters from Batman Adventures or just strictly the cartoon?
So like the new Batman Adventures, like the
that's
redesign.
what I assume he's asking. Yeah,
well, we did Batman Beyond, which is, you know, in in that style, you know.
Okay.
So yeah.
So there you go. Okay. Marlo Brandon, who came up with
real quick, if there are characters that you'd like to see in the new animated, you know, new adventures style, feel free to leave them in the comment. I know Scarecrow is like, that's like one of the best Scarecrow designs ever.
You know what? If you made another Clayface, but it comes with that little girl, then bingo, nailed it. Marlo Brandon, who came up with the idea for the magnet? It's brilliant.
It's so you know, Hector is a big believer in magnets, so it was probably Hector. But yeah, we all wanted to have the like Batman climbing out of Clayface, and it was that sort of thing. Like when we have our like creative meetings discussing this, it's like, could we do something like that? Like, you know, swappable torso. Like we do swappable torsos, but it's like that would be a huge chunk of plastic. Like, could we do it with a magnet? Like, yeah, I think that would work pretty well. So again, it's like the scale, the premium format. It's like it affords us the ability to do like this stuff, you know, some of the cool stuff like that. And
yeah, what I did my little wrap out, and I kind of said bye to Peter and this and that. Like I was just kind of like going through and just making sure the footage was good. And these two guys, one passed by, he's like, "Yo, Hatter, that fucking Batman magnet sold me." Like that's all he said. He's like, so it's like that. Sometimes it's just one thing that is you're like a teeter-totter on like, should I go? And yeah, this guy, you could just tell he was defeated. He's like, the fucking Batman. I was like, yeah, that's how they get you, man. That's how they fucking get you.
I saw Toy Farce put it next to Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura climbing out of the rhino's butt. It's like exactly the same.
That's awesome. Okay. Topher Khan, Young Hummus, is it hard to sculpt a portrait from the sides and then match it all up with the front facing angle? That's a great question.
That's like the name of the game, right? And when you're sculpting, you want to always like be moving, don't just like labor on the front, because then when you turn it, it's like it'll fall apart, right? So it's for me, it's all about constantly like moving the angle and like making sure it works from all sides, and like really like the 3/4 is like a very so like the profile is important because that kind of gives you like the depth of some of the features, like the you know, the cheekbones, the nose, like, you know, the front on is obviously important because we usually are facing you know, directly a character. For animation, the 3/4 is extremely important because they almost always draw it in 3/4 because that's how you create the illusion of three-dimensionality in animation. So like you'll never see these Batman the Animated Series characters drawn from the front because it looks very flat. You know, it's always like especially like, you know, like the female characters like Harley Quinn, or like you get that kind of like that like it's always a three quarter like kind of B shape with like the cheekbone and the so anyway like nailing that to me is like that's where the likeness for Batman the Animated Series specifically comes into play, is like getting that like 3/4 because that's where you mostly see the character. So
that's so interesting. That's like a magic trick you have to fucking perform, is that because these are not meant to be spun from every, I mean they are, but you know, it's like you said, when you see a Ninja Turtle, it's mostly that 3/4 where the nose protrudes and that juts out the most from the face. But it's like you have to not only get it that part, but get the front and have everything that connects in the middle that you would never see on a show, not really, unless it's like you pause the screen. It's like you got to get all of that to work. That's interesting. That like, so you don't finalize one angle like, okay, this is the front and then go. You're spinning the thing around like clay, for lack of better, no pun intended.
No,
before
totally.
You say again.
No, totally. That's because also it's like that just informs the depth. It's like because like your like faces are not, it's not blocks, right? Like even Batman, who is like a very angular design, like everything wraps around because like you know, Bruce Timm and the people designing these characters, like they really knew anatomy, they really knew form, and you know, and could break these things down into like simple shapes, but like knew how everything wrapped around to feel alive as opposed to like stiff and robotic. So it's like kind of unlocking that. And usually sometimes the challenge is with 2D, you can draw something with a certain type of profile and draw it from a 3/4 angle, and they don't match at all, you know, because it's just a drawing. So part of the challenge can be like figuring out like, how do I make it so it looks right from all the different angles and looks consistent and everything. Because like Mickey Mouse's ears, you always see them like when he turns his head, the ears stay. It can't possibly work in 3D. So like that's a great example of like sometimes what you'll find with some of these animated, very abstract character designs. You'll get little things like that, and like figuring out how to like split the difference in 3D so it like mostly reads is part of the challenge. But it's a challenge I like.
Alex, I think you're just not working hard enough on making it. Okay. I think if we put his nose to the grindstone, Doell, he could figure out the Mickey Mouse dilemma. It's got to be ears this way, and somehow you have to defy physics and make his ears do the same.
Yeah, magnets. Just have a magnet and slide it around his head.
You already did it. You are. God damn it! All right, we got it. John Toole, did the artists from the Pop division offer any assistance with the vinyl rubber body?
No.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like we do, because Funko Pops are soft vinyl, but like we do soft vinyl as well. Like our whole, like we have, you know, our Godzilla line of soft vinyl, and you know, our Ninja Turtles, which are soft vinyl. So yeah, we, you know, and this isn't the arms, like what we didn't end up going with soft vinyl. It's like a soft durometer plastic. So
that's awesome. And again, Chad, if you got questions, drop them. This is the time to do it. This is the best stream to be asking questions for Alex. I have a question about the inside of Clayface.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're designing a toy like this, and again, he's got these broad shoulders, he's got this probably like this big, massive head that you got to plug in and play. And then he still has that, like you said, he's got that. This is the original Marvel Dorito body, right? Yeah. So my question is, when you're planning a toy like this that you know is going to be seamless, you have to kind of create that skeleton in the inside. Do you do that part as well?
Well, not in this instance. And so yeah, this is where I get to give a huge shout out to Tommy Hodges. Who's another sculptor at Mondo. He does a lot of the Motu. He did Bane for the Batman line. He did Batman. He did Joker. He did our Scare Mare, the giant horse, like Battle Cat. Like he'll do animal articulation and everything. Like, and he loves articulation. So it was like, so because of the nature of this being this kind of exoskeleton that had to have like an internal armature, we gave it to Tommy to figure out those inner workings. And I was like, I was happy. So for the head, I did the articulation on the like Oogie Boogie. First I did this like Super 7 Oogie Boogie. And it's hard. It is hard to have this like sort of ball head that has to sink into the torso and still look good and still have like the proper clearances. So I was like, okay, like I'll let Tommy handle that on this one. But so Tommy, he created a whole internal armature that is, and Tommy has a bunch of the like Storm collectible Street Fighter figures like Zangief and which has like a very same principle, like soft squishy torso with like an armature inside. But Tommy decided to give Clayface more of like a robust armature for the torsos. Like the chest has like this kind of like iRobot looking chest piece that articulates, and then the arms are like kind of skinnier pipes and stuff. And so he kind of like figured out a good armature that like everything could like fit onto, but would still allow for like a good amount of movement. So, and he just crushed it. And then the factory will also like, or our production vendors will also like, they'll fine tune articulation. It's like because like once you start like 3D printing the parts and like getting the materials in hand, then it's all the like adjusting and fine tuning and stuff.
Yeah, this question actually relates. So I'm jumping down to this one before a couple others. Who determines the cuts in a figure? Is something that you have to consider from the beginning, or is it a negotiation after you have mapped out the design? After you've mapped out the design, I can talk.
Well, the way we do it is, usually we'll once the sculpt is approved by the licensor, then we'll talk about like, okay, well, what do we want to do for the articulation here? And usually we have like a pretty, we want the lines to feel consistent. We want the aesthetic across the figures to be pretty consistent. And so like there's sort of a standard articulation scheme that we like to go with for our figures, which we will deviate from if there's like a certain requirement. Like, so like a great example is like Cyclops. So typically we do a single jointed elbow, but Cyclops has to be able to touch his visor.
Hang on. There we go. Okay.
He has to be able to do this or this.
Nice.
To prove that he can fly the Blackbird. So he has a double jointed elbow.
Very nice. So
this was like if you have like our like Sabretooth is a single joint with a swivel. So this is like more the standard like it's like a lot of like the Motu figures have that. But so we switched it up for Cyclops. Wolverine, our new Wolverine, also has double jointed elbows. Because there's it's like,
well, that means you can do the claws in front of the face, right? Like you can
exactly like if you want to do that, like the like X the X pose, or and like Spider-Man, like we're like, okay, Spider-Man, we have to like do articulated toes,
right.
And so so he has much more articulation than some of the other figures. So we'll have discussions like that. And that'll be like, we do a sculptors meeting like every week. So like, but so like Hector does like the art direction on the project. So like usually it's a conversation with him, like what should we do for this? And we'll talk through it. Sometimes we'll bring it up in the sculptor meeting, and we'll all the sculptors, Tommy and May, Thamtaranya, who also sculpts a ton of our awesome figures, and now Brandon Gash, who just joined our team, like insanely talented. We'll all sort of talk through some of these things, but it's like, yeah, it's cool. like for Rogue, it's like we'll discuss something like, oh, do we want to do our like do a cut here, like, you know, like our Tila has that, some of other female characters, but like the nature of her costume, that would really break up the sort of sleekness of it. And she doesn't have like, because her belt is supposed to like hang to the side, like you can't really hide it the way we can hide it with other belts. But we're like, okay, but we can get like a decent amount of like range of, I mean, obviously like the Marvel Legends Rogue uses this sort of same scheme, so we're like, okay, we think that'll work for her there. And so yeah, so we'll have those conversations, and then usually the sculptor on the project, so in this case me, will then implement the articulation, and then it's like a further discussion, you know, then that gets sent to the factory, and like I said, we fine tune it from there.
That's cool.
But it is a big part of the job, like cutting up all the pieces, making sure all the clearances like work right, that like nothing's like you know, because like when you're sculpting, it's like you just want it to look good, but then you have to figure out like, okay, well, when the arm's bent, like now the bicep is like colliding with, you know, this muscle of the forearm, and so you got to like adjust that and like figure out where you're going to put the disc so you're not getting it's like it's a big part of the job, is like figuring out all that stuff, all the engineering.
That's cool, because it's I think that's cool. Granger Perry, is Clayface the same material as Gambit's cloak?
It's definitely softer, but like that's a good example, because like this Gambit's cloak is it's a plastic, but it's very soft durometer, so it's like it bends, you know, it's like I mean, it might be kind of similar, but I think Clayface's arms and stuff are definitely way softer than this. But it, as you can see, it does move. And you don't want it to be like, you know, obviously our figures are also like fully painted. So you don't want it to be like, with some of the seamless stuff, it can be hard to paint. So, oh, did I freeze?
No, I think you're fine. Did I freeze?
No, I think I'm freezing.
Is that your transition?
I think we're all freezing.
Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, Mr. Freeze?
That's Mr. Freeze, yeah.
Mr. Freeze confirmed?
Mr. Freeze confirmed. Hang on, we got another question here from Posable Productions. This one might take you, this one might completely derail everything. What is Alex's absolute favorite line to work on?
Well, first of all, shout out to Brandon, Posable Productions, who does a lot of our amazing animated photography. Just shot all the photos for the symbiote costume Spider-Man that went up on the site.
Those were some nice, good job, dude. Those are some nice fucking shots, man.
And it's sold out.
Those shots sold a lot of. I mean, obviously, it takes everybody, the whole team to put that, but like that was a home run.
It was the perfect like 90s Spider-Man color scheme, you know, like like Brandon he'll use like backgrounds from the actual cartoons, like for like the X-Men, like he's a huge Cyclops fan, so he shot all the Cyclops pictures, and it shows like, yeah, it's
oh dude, the Cyclops photos are unreal. Those are
they're so good.
They are so good.
My favorite line, I mean, like X-Men is so near and dear to my heart. I mean, I love all of it, obviously, like X-Men, Batman, Real Ghostbusters, like Ninja Turtles. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, but like X-Men is like the number one. But I obviously they're all my favorite. They're all the stuff I loved growing up, and I'm just so blessed to get to work on them. So that's my answer. Oh, Ryan, did you freeze again?
Your answer was so potent that it fucked all up.
Froze Ryan in his tracks.
All right. We'll go through the chat. I think that was. Let me see. Alex, I'm going to throw you some softball ones. Okay.
All right.
Everybody wants to know the superstar.
On.
You're going to give us a look at. I mean, I guess I can't. I mean, I don't know if you can
Are
answer.
we
this.
all
Can you
freezing? Is
look
it
at
just
the inner
me?
skeleton?
Well, I'm hearing Ryan's disembodied voice.
Ryan.
Oh, looks
Ryan,
like
is there? Did a moose hit? All right, there you go.
all right.
Ryan's done.
Lost
Everybody, Ryan, a Mountie or a moose hit his internet wire or something. I assume that's what happens in Canada. So he, he's gonna come back, or maybe some maple syrup like dripped into the fucking. We don't know.
He froze. He turned to a life of crime, and now he's going to steal some ice, which is the criminal vernacular for diamonds. If you didn't know, so.
Oh no, I'm Alex. I'm pretty. Okay, I don't know if you know. Who determines? Oh, Doell, you're there.
I am there. Sorry about that. I'm having internet issues apparently.
I was gonna say that John Toll basically said that the Blackbird is confirmed based on what Alex said.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I actually love that.
1/6 scale Blackbird. Like, who doesn't have room?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about all the different toys that you do, I want to ask this question, and then I'm going to dig into a little deeper about how you learned your skills. Because I'm always kind of mind blown, Alex, that you're able to. Doesn't matter what cartoon it is, or even what toy line it is, you're able to match the aesthetic every goddamn time. Whether it's real Ghostbusters, Batman animated series, X-Men, and even this Super Shredder that we were also going to look at here shortly as well, which I hope I put a photo in here.
There's plenty around.
Yeah, there's plenty around. But Topher Khan, Young Hummus, is asking, Alex, have you ever considered teaching an online class? I'd buy a course from you in a heartbeat. Do you even have time to teach?
I don't, but I think about it quite a bit, because I feel like I could get people started. Like, I know how to at least with like ZBrush and sculpting, like I feel like I kind of know how to at least get people like familiar with the program in a way that they can start doing some fun stuff.
No, I think you explained it great, Alex. I think you could. What if you had like an upstart student, right? Who like after a few years, he was like Professor Alex, Professor Brew, whatever he calls you. You might be one of the cool teachers. It's like, call me Alex. But what if he's like, you know what? I don't think that the ZBrush mode should be like this. I think it should. And you're like, and you kind of put him aside. You're like, that's a dangerous road. He's kind of like this student that's kind of, he's like, I can't co-sign where you're going. And
he's like an Anakin Skywalker situation.
And he then works for a competing company, and he has it out for you because he's like, my professor. And then it's almost like a battle of sculptors that you have with this kid that you brought up from the streets.
That's the risk you gotta take. It's like the LCD Sound System song. The kids are coming up from behind. It's like
nice.
That's a good pull.
Wow, that was quite the pull. So
I've never been wrong.
Yeah. So that's my question. So where did you learn? Did you always? Clearly, I feel in my head that you've always had some good art skills, and then you probably went to school to fine tune them. Is that kind of the process of what happened?
It was always my thing. I was always drawing, always loved comics, always loved action figures, and even as a kid, like I loved the sculpts of action figures, or I like pour over it,
right.
And yeah, growing up with like Ninja Turtles and stuff, it's like that's the best. Like those are the best. Sculpts are just so like creative and wild, and you could kind of stare endlessly at a figure and see all this stuff. But yeah, all through high school, I was like super into drawing and comics and animation, and I thought that's like the direction I wanted to go in. And I went to Rhode Island School of Design, and as an illustration major. So again, like I was always thinking of like 2D art, but I took like sculpting classes because like I think like Corpse Bride had like just come out, and like you know, I was big into Tim Burton, and like Leica was like starting to become a thing, so I was like really into stop motion and sculpture and that sort. So I took sculpting classes at RISD, and sort of and learned like, so I learned like the fundamentals of like anatomy and perspective, and looked at a lot, you know, art history, like looked at like all the old masters and all the great, like I highly recommend, like as like look at comic book art, look at animation, but also look at classic art, and just look at all art. Like it's all, I'm watching the Leonardo da Vinci Ken Burns PBS documentary right now, and like it's the most inspiring shit ever. Like but so yeah, I took some sculpting classes there, and kind of learned the like old school techniques working in clay and wax, and I but I didn't really pursue that. It's like traditional sculpting is a bear to tackle, because you have to make every armature like before you can do anything. Like it's like you have to like basically build the sculpture out of like hard aluminum wire, and like nail it to like wooden boards, and like they become big and heavy, and you need storage space. Like and if you're sculpting like a full figure, there's usually like there's like a whole pipe that's like, it's like that's a whole thing, right? But like I love doing it. Like I loved sculpting, but it was you know, it took up a lot of space. It was hard to do as like a student living in a little apartment. But the thing like the big lesson I learned from like sculpting class is like we were sculpting like a skull, right? And I was working on it, and like my professor came over, and like the proportions, like the skull looked good from the front, right? But like the proportions like weren't quite right. Like the head was like a little too long. And so she was like, hey, you gotta make it. I was like, so precious. You're so precious as a student, as a get what you're learning. And so she was like, gotta make it right. You gotta like, so I had to take like clay wire cutters and like cut the like whole front half of this thing off, and like carefully like slice out another section, stick it back on. But it's like, that's what you gotta. So it was like nerve wracking, because I was like very precious about the whole the details I'd worked into the front. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's about making it right, and like making it accurate, and like those details you're gonna like rework and do over anyway. Right. And so it's like, so that was like an important lesson that I learned, you know, formative lesson about like not being too precious about the stuff. Like don't be afraid to like rip it apart, stick this back on, stick this over here, and just like don't be too quick to leave the like the rough sketch stage, right? So right, and get too down into the details.
Yeah. Writing is rewriting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this. It's those principles extend to like all art forms, and yeah, writing absolutely. It's like just like don't rewrite the same chapter or section or page or scene like over and over again. Like get to the end, realize like where you want to go with the thing, like all the things you need to like. Absolutely, like art is the same way. Like, and so yeah, so that's sort of like that was my formal training. And then I kind of like just kept, you know, drawing and like I actually went into film. I didn't end up going into like, you know, illustration or comics or animation or anything like that. Like, you know, I spent quite a few years in the film industry, and I would do like, you know, storyboards and like illustration, animations, you know, here and there for like, you know, various projects where it worked in. But I always like would draw like in practice and stuff, and I always wanted to like, I always had like my own characters, my own ideas. I was like draw in my spare time. And then it was really like during the pandemic. It was like just before the pandemic. Like I was like watching all these like video tutorials on ZBrush and watching like what people were able to do, and I was like, man, that because I always wanted to like sculpt action figures as like a customizer, if nothing else. It's like, well, I want like a John Byrne style head for my like Marvel Legends. So like, sure. If I could only sculpt that and have it and like 3D printed. So that was all sort of happening. Like I was getting into that like 2018, 2019. And so like I like took the plunge. I got ZBrush, and then I think like, and I really struggled with it at first, but I didn't have a proper tablet. And then like a year later, I ended up getting a Cintiq, which is the tablet that you can actually like draw on. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to ZBrush, and like it was much easier. Like you have to have like a Cintiq or a tablet to use ZBrush. And then like the pandemic hit, and I was like, okay, well, like I love doing this. I want to like, when I started using ZBrush and things started to click, it was like, I want to do this like all day, every day. I want to learn as much about it as I possibly can. Yeah. It was like fun because it was like, I had all these questions, like each new thing led to like another question. And like through the magic of the internet, there's like always a tutorial to get the answer to that question. So, and I was just like really motivated by the prospect that I could like make my own figures through doing this. And so I was just like, I had time, and I was just doing it all day, every day, and learning a lot and practicing a lot. And like, kind of, I would sort of almost like assign myself projects to like push me out of my comfort zone, to be like, well, I'm not very good at like hard surface modeling. So like, I wonder if I sculpt a robot, like what that'll do. Like,
right.
I wonder if I can do like super stylized Bruce Timm style animation. I'll try that. I wonder if I can do like a realistic likeness, you know, and like I tried sculpting, you know, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess Leia, like the notoriously difficult likenesses, yeah. Like, you know, and just like, and yeah, so and that like coinciding with that, I also like started my Instagram account. It was like, well, I'm gonna like, because like as an artist, like I was always like, you know, I had the thing that all artists have, and this certainly stunted me with my 2D drawing. Is like, I felt like I was never ready. I was like waiting to like become the artist I thought I should be before showing the world.
Right.
And with this, it was like, you know, I'm old. I've like spent enough years like thinking that way. Like I should be okay with like learning in front of the world and just like posting my stuff as I make it, as I progress, and like just have like a record of it. And that literally led to through posting on Instagram, like within a year, Cornboy from the Four Horsemen reached out to me, like DM'd me. I had because I had done some John Byrne style X-Men heads. And he was like, I would love to buy those for a custom. For customs. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Cornboy from the Four Horsemen. Like I was like, what? Like I couldn't believe it. And then, you know, he was like, oh, like, do you do this like professionally? And it was like, well, yeah, I'd love to, like, you know, and that, you know, it's like, but you know, you can see the stuff that I've done on my Instagram. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he gave me like a little test to do. And then he had some work for me, and it was just like that. I was like, oh, all right, wow, like this is my first ever job was Oogie Boogie for Super 7. Yeah. I was so excited, but like it's scary too, because it's like he's a burlap sack, so it's like, but I wanted it to like feel like that, like the puppet from like the stop motion puppet. I was like, man, if I could like give somebody that, like the feeling of having like that actual like puppet in their hand. So anyway, like I was like so blessed to have that opportunity. I threw myself into it. It's like one thing led to the next, and then kind of like completely independent of that, Hector Arce from Mondo reached out to me, and they were working on Magneto, like their X-Men line. They had just done Wolverine, and the next figure is Magneto, and they had Jubilee planned as well. And I had just done like a Jim Lee style Magneto on Instagram, and Jubilee as well. And Hector saw those like somehow in his feed. Like I guess in those days, like the Instagram algorithm was like doing a much better job of like matching people with like interests. But so Hector saw it, and he was like, it would be awesome for you guys. You know, this is exactly like what we're looking for. Like, you know, we'd love to work with you on these projects. And so, yeah, it was like,
that's super cool.
Crazy. Yeah. That, I mean, obviously very lucky, like a very lucky shot, but it was like, it was over a decade, conservatively, liberally, my entire life spent preparing to do this. Right?
Yeah, I think it's important to note for people in the chat that might be listening. It's like any overnight success is usually behind that. It's kind of like the glacier where you see the giant glacier in the tip. Any quote unquote overnight success is usually a 10 to 15 year run before that. And sometimes you could be, you probably agree with this, Al. You could be a savant that maybe you get it in like 5 years or something.
Sure.
But like it's at least from what I've seen in different avenues, whether you're an artist or a writer or you make films, it takes 10, 15, dude, I know one of the best filmmakers I know probably was struggling for 20 years before he got something, you know what I mean? Or like there's something that made an impact. So, and I don't say that as like a fake, like hang in there, but it is true. Like there's you read the book 10,000 Hours. There is something to, putting in the work, but don't be, I think sometimes like sometimes people get discouraged if they don't get that immediate, satisfaction or that immediate, people are embracing my stuff. Here's like a great story for artists and I know that a lot of artists like watch this show that it takes time. It takes a lot of practice. And, now we're in the Instagram era and social media, and you should not be afraid. I think people are very forgiving. Actually, I like seeing progression of work when you go to people's social media. I like that, okay, this person started is this. And then, it's funny. You were talking about like Tim Burton, because I went to art school, we had to watch all kinds of different Ren and Stimpy and John Krasinski and
Chris Falusi,
yeah. And then you look at early Tim Burton films, and but there's seeds. There's artistic seeds where you're like, oh, you know what? I can see why. Or you look at Guillermo del Toro, and you look at his first film was a short film where it's like a kid in a pentagon it's like a nothing film from Mexico, but you can see little things of brilliance. And obviously he does Kronos, and then so there's I think that's actually a fun thing that we have in social media now, where you don't have to be like, I'm ready, and then you go out there. You just kind of I don't know. I think it's okay. It's very forgiving to put yourself out there. But yeah, I think overnight success is a sham, really. I think it's the work.
I agree with you too.
The work in there.
Unless you're some sort of nepo baby, it's
you're nepo baby, and I've seen it 100 times. But nepo babies, even they have to have some kind of talent to last, because otherwise,
that's right.
Every actor you see, every person you see would be, I'm the brother of this, I'm the cousin of that, and it's not that way. I know that there's a lot that take up that space, but great cream.
Well, let's put it this way: they get to go to the front of the line to get through the door, but to stay inside is a whole other thing.
Exactly. Right. Staying inside is because the audience, at the end of the day, the audience is not going to forgive it. You know what I mean?
Correct. In fact, it's even harder for them.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You have to legitimize yourself in a way. So, but I know that feeling of you're plugging away at your art. I don't do 2D. I know that on a writer perspective, where you're just plugging away. Oh, look who it is!
Thank you. Thanks,
Attack Peter.
Who also has but real quick, Attack Peter and Hector did an interview with DesignerCon. It's like a podcast interview where they talk about their origin stories and how they got into the industry and their artistic path. And it's super inspiring, and it's exactly everything that we're talking about here. Definitely go seek that out and listen to it for more, inspiration here.
For some more origin stories.
Yeah.
Hang on. Should we go through a couple more questions here?
Well, I would just also like to just one more point to throw out there is in addition to the 10,000 hours thing, I also really like the Malcolm Gladwell book, David and Goliath, because that's also a component to it too. And certainly here, because it is about the premise of that book is that the Goliath is David is always like advantaged, has a greater advantage than Goliath because he has the advantage of outside the box thinking, whereas a Goliath is always going to, the things that make them seem strong are actually weaknesses, or so my version of this is that, if I had tried to make it into as a 3D sculptor in like the video game world or like on ArtStation, like I probably would have hit a huge wall. Like it probably never, because like there's just so many insanely talented people in that field. And that's not to say that there aren't like obviously insanely talented people in all artistic fields, but the way it happened for me was through this sort of Instagram community that was right place at the right time of like collectors and customizers that like also could connect with some toy world professionals, right? So like, so one of the first things I ever did of like when I first started getting followers on Instagram, I had sculpted. So I was a huge fan of Robo and the Fwoosh, and I watched before the pandemic, and then certainly during the pandemic, like watching Robo's videos, like really got me through a lot of it. And so I'm learning ZBrush. I'm trying likenesses. I was like, I should do a head sculpt of Robo as like a thank you for, and he had sort of like a character and stuff that he was, that he was doing. And so I was like, oh, like, maybe he could to have a figure of himself standing next to his little like mascot character. And so I did like a sculpt of Robo, like 2 different head sculpts, and I 3D printed them, or like I didn't have a 3D printer. I had them 3D printed from a online third-party place at the time. And got them, I painted them up and I mailed them to him as a thank you, to say like, thank you for making me feel like connected to this like community, and just like just because it's Mad Hatter, like what you guys do, it's like and Ryan, like it's a lot of work, like to generate videos, like it's just the editing, the man hours of editing alone, like it's a lot of work to provide like entertainment, a sense of community, like and all that. So it's like as a fan, I'm like incredibly grateful for all the work that you guys do. And so this was a thank you I wanted to do for Robo. At any rate, he had like a feature where he would feature customizers' work, and so he showed these heads on his channel, and like that was like the first like Instagram bump, was getting that like notoriety. So that's just to say that like, and from there I was able to like it's like one thing like kind of gained kind of in the like this sort of circuitous path that was like not just like going with my portfolio with every other, like it's like I met like customizers first, and that so anyway, like you never know what path is gonna like lead to great opportunity.
I love it. No, it's a great road. It's winding. Yeah.
That's totally true.
And you're not done. So, you know what I mean? Like,
trust me, there is stuff that I'm waiting for Alex to do at some point in time in my life so that I can buy it. I'm not going to put it out there just yet, but he knows. He's heard me pitch it.
Yeah.
That's it. Universal Ash, he's asking, are there any unique considerations you need to make for different scales at the design phase, or do you typically sculpt with the same level of detail, then scale up or down to fit the line?
Is that
a loaded question?
No, it's a good question. So on the one hand, one of the advantages of sculpting for something that is going to be 1/6 scale is that you don't have to be so worried about like thicknesses, like wall thickness, because that's a factor in like just the 3D printing stage to be able to have, but let alone something that's going to withstand being pulled out of a steel mold, steel tooling. So like I don't know, certain things like like Rogue's like hair wisps in the front there, like I don't know if like maybe that's something that like it's because it's 1/6 scale, like it's a good enough thickness, or if that would have to be like beefed up or rethought if it were done on a 6 scale level. Like you can see like how Joker's like hair is kind of like more like one molded piece, but it's kind of made to look like there's wisps, but they're all connected,
right?
At any rate,
even details. I just kind of want to bring this up.
Oh yeah. So
because you look at this helmet, and even all these rivets and these veins, right? Like a Snickers bar. Like this is insane.
So again, like this is where so I did a little like a tiny bit of work on this. This is mostly Brandon Gash's.
Oh, this is mostly Brandon's.
Yeah, and like my involvement was so we got when we got the like 3D print back and had it next to like Ray Fillet and the Ninja Turtles. It didn't quite look like quite the same like aesthetic, like it looked super awesome in ZBrush and everything, and but like when we actually had it like standing with the other figures, it was like, oh, it's it's not quite so. And Brandon happened to be on vacation, so it like fell to me to kind of like rework some of the like proportions and stuff. But as a result, I got to look at Brandon's ZBrush file, and the amount of detail and love and care that he put into this figure is astounding. Like all those little wraps, his like neck piece that is like, it's like made out of like, I don't know, it's like tire that's woven into it. Like it's just like the amount of detail on this figure is amazing. And this is like soft vinyl, so it's like it's a different material and like a little slightly different. But it captures like detail really well. It's like we've found that we can really like push the details quite hard and stuff. So.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait for Ace Duck in this series.
Oh.
And
but do we do the like super buff like wrestling that NECA just showed off? Like
do whatever do whatever you need to do just to make it happen. Just to give me the duck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you gotta do
it. You want the duck, Doell.
I want the duck.
Give him the duck.
Give me the duck. Another one I want too is Dirtbag. In this style, I think you like, and any of those
Ground Chuck, Dirtbag, like they're it's like
all of them.
Bebop, Rocksteady, Toka Razor, Ground Chuck, Dirtbag. Like
I got my Leo and Donnie right up there.
I watched your review, Mad Hatter, and I can't wait to get those get my own copies of them. But one thing that struck me, like just seeing them like in your display and stuff, because you're a Turtles guy, you got a lot of Turtles stuff. These guys feel like, and I didn't think of this while I was working on them. It's just hitting me now, but like they kind of feel like the Mogwai, like the like mischievous Mogwai of the collection. Like, I could see them just like all four of them just like in the corner of your collection room, like gambling, like playing the poker, while a cigarette.
Now that you say that, there's definitely like a Ghoulies, like sort of mischievous. There's like a mischievous quality. Now that I'll be very terrified if one day I look back and I'm writing and I don't see them there, because then I know I'm fucked. They're
the Turtles figures that are like secretly beating up your other Turtles figures. When you're not,
dude, they're definitely beating up those like Playmates multi-posable ones. What's with that texture? Boom!
No, they're so good. And you know what? They don't actually. Like, unless you have all like weapons akimbo and stuff like that, they don't take up that much space. They're like, you could in like one center default, you can literally put like a staircase and have 4 of the Turtles and probably like one big guy like a Ray Fillet or something in the back, and it would fit. So that's what I like too. Like, it's not.
They're like compact.
Giant,
compact. Like in like Peter and Hector, like they wanted to like fit into your hand. Like
no, that was a perfect. They mentioned that in Monster Palooza that was supposed to be feel. And honestly, dude, it was like that. It was like if you're a kid, it's like a 1-to-1 scale with just being. And I just like that. where this excels is like the paint and the sculpt are just so good, and it's like as long as you're not an articulation junkie, which you shouldn't be because you're in the wrong bar. You know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? Because sometimes I get that where it's just like I'll show this to like a friend, and he's like, "Man, can you get it in this post?" I was like, "That you're in the wrong bar." You know what I mean? So as long as you don't give a fuck about that, but the paint and it's like statue quality stuff. So I'm really happy you guys are doing like this Playmates, like, well, I'm saying Playmates, but like you just taking that like old aesthetic and just kind of like revamping. I can't wait to see like some of these other guys. They're so cool.
Plus, they also are really fun in the bath.
Yes.
Yeah, Ray Fillet, yeah, maybe we should do Ace Duck as like a rubber ducky, like full rubber ducky material.
have the fight cap on and the jacket and the cigar coming out.
Full cigar,
I like that. I like it.
But dude, these are awesome. We're gonna we should try to get Brandon on one of these.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Granger Perry. I don't know if it's referring to anything in particular. Alex, what do you think about an accessory pack?
Yeah, I mean, accessory packs would be super. I have kind of like a running list in my head of accessories I'd want to include, like for
this one, for
just
the turtle line,
everything, like just all of our lines. But yeah, I mean, like the turtle stuff. But I think the tricky thing with accessory packs, it's like look at like NECA's accessory packs, because it's like, so the way these licenses work is that you have like you're locked into like a certain amount, a certain price point for the product that you're offering.
Right.
And sometimes like an accessory pack like may not even count. Like if you have the license to make figures, that may not include something like a pack that's just accessories where there's no figure. So there's different things like that, but then it's also becomes about like, well, so we have to, like, the accessory pack would have to like, and I'm not saying this is the case for us, but I'm just speculating. Like, an accessory pack might have to cost the same amount as a figure in the line, in which case now you have to fill it with accessories everyone's gonna want. Because if it's all just kind of like like deep cut, like stuff, and people may not be like, I don't really need like him to have his mop or whatever. Like, it's like it just becomes tricky. You want to make sure that you'll be able to sell as many of the accessory packs as the figures themselves.
I will say this. I love it too, but I think what Mondo does particularly well is that you load up the accessories.
Yeah, we try to get everything in there on the first go round.
Yeah, like you guys have always been really great about that. Tony Toponi, amazing work, Alex. Always been daydreaming about what you'll produce next. Selfishly want some Brewer Return to Oz or Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Both, yeah. I mean, but yeah, we talk about everything, right? But like both those definitely have come up. Yeah, I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Like,
oh my God, dude, give me a
Zolul
884 Jessica Rabbit.
Come on, shiny, sequin.
Can you guys break the Who Framed Roger Rabbit curse where we don't have these figures? Like, what is going on? I know, obviously, it's Wright's nightmare. Obviously, there's something. It's probably such a Wright's nightmare. But they had a reaction figure, so I just, it just gets me thinking. It's like, where's the love? Where's the Roger? That's such a.
You know what I would love to have as a premium 2-pack, and it will never happen because these two studios hate each other. But I would kill for a premium 2-pack of the Piano Duel.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Daffy Duck. That's the dream. Yep. Like, and then if you do the whole stage play set with that too, then you can have Jessica Rabbit, have the bouncer ape.
Yeah. I just watched that movie like a few weeks ago. Not for the first time, but I watched it again recently. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. We were talking about Return to Oz not too long ago either, and I just feel like that's another one too that just it needs its love.
Yeah.
It's creepy, it's weird.
Yeah.
I love it. It's trauma. It's trauma. It's childhood trauma. Just like throwing.
I'm just hoping now that there's like this kind of almost resurgence, like golden age of like a lot of like these properties that are being represented, that somehow the spinning vortex starts hitting some things that, you know, may not have been done in the way, like Roger Rabbit has been done as a reaction. So it makes me feel like, okay, if it's been done as a reaction, could it be like, what's the transition that needs to be made?
Because it always blew my mind that we never got Ultimates, like Roger Rabbit Ultimates. Like where? Where were they?
I maybe.
Kyle, are you still here, or did you run away?
Kyle. Yeah. Well, maybe there's a thing with likeness, right? Well, maybe with Judge. I
What's weird is you don't even see like third party.
Exactly. Like there's no 100%. Like there's no like AliExpress. There's no
like unlicensed. No like you know, bunny, like bow tie bunny. And,
bow tie bunny.
Baby. Where's my cigar baby?
With sexy Mrs. Rabbit or something, or whatever they want to call it.
And Jack Daniels.
I would want Cigar Baby and Taxi Cab. I think that would be that would be fun.
You get Cigar Baby, you get Taxi Cab, you get Weasel 1, Weasel 2, Weasel 3. You don't even have to call by their name.
Weasel Smoker. What is it? Would be Weasel Crazy, Weasel Smoker.
Yeah, Weasel Crazy,
Weasel Smoker,
Pink Suit Weasel.
Yeah,
Leader
Weasel. Leader Weasel is my favorite.
Leader Weasel.
Sure. I love
that,
right?
Laughing.
Yeah. What is
it? And then
what would it be? It would be Chemical Waste Judge.
Chemical Waste Judge.
Right? I don't know. There's a lot there.
Cartoon Detective.
Cartoon Detective.
You know?
Come on.
Hey, third party guys, like you're immune over wherever you are. Get to work.
Hey, Ramen, stop making what Hasbro didn't and start making that. Thank you.
He would,
right?
He would
Disney's not that scary. Just do it.
He would clean up.
He would clean up. Video Power Gaming. Alex, would you work on a Dino Riders project?
I don't know what, I mean, I know like what Dino Riders are, but I'm not super familiar. It was certainly something I was never aware of as a kid, and never really like crossed paths with. I always confuse it with like Dino Saucers, which is
I confuse it too with Dinosaur, which I'm more of a Dino Saucers guy.
But Dino Riders was like the dinosaurs that had like armor pieces on
armor
them. You could put like figures on stuff. Yeah, we've gotten like people have requested that like quite a bit. That it's like Mask. It's like Dino Riders and Mask are like the two lines that like have yet to have their like real like return to like day in the sun. Yeah, so I
think Men in Black also needs a.
Oh man, Men in Black. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, for me, it's like I can't be too greedy, right? You know, it's got real Ghostbusters, but like, real Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters, Men in Black, like.
Yep, those cartoons. So we never got figures based on the cartoon, which also is a big bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this. Is this what Attack Peter's hitting at? Wait till you see what he's working on now. Zipper mouth emoji. Is this it?
I'm not
how
even.
How about we don't wait and you give us a taste right now, Peter?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna breathe on what I'm working on now. Okay, I'm working on a few things. One of the things I am working on now, I'm not even gonna say anymore. Like,
you're working on something.
It's that crazy,
right?
I'm just working
I think Roger Rabbit confirmed just now.
Was there any more leaked at SafubiCon for the Alien Safubi? Was there a leak?
No more stuff other than what we showed at New York.
Right. SA Alex, any chance we see vehicles from Mondo anytime soon?
Well, so we've got the Sky Sled in the Motu line.
Right.
So that was like sort of a foray into like 1/6 scale. It's like a, you know, more compact vehicle. I mean, like, obviously some of our, you know, we're sort of wetting our feet in the 1/12 world, and vehicles have come up in conversation quite a bit, and we're totally open to it. I've never I've sculpted machinery. I've sculpted some kind of like set pieces, but I've never sculpted something like a vehicle. I'm kind of curious to try it out. So
there's a really cool 3-wheeler helicopter that folds up in a particular show and a particular brand that you may be dabbling in. I'm just gonna say, if you ever need practice, start there.
There's some show that has quite a lot of awesome vehicles that would be a dream to get to do any of them. But.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's just it's all good.
See what you're doing. We see what you're doing, Doell. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
trying to guide the ship with your influence. We get it.
I am. I kind of am. I think you should also just start doing battle beasts. And then make these in the Mondo style.
Oh man.
Then we're cooking. Then we're cooking. Because you can't really do anything with. I try to think of course Batman does. Anything. A 1/6 scale Blackbird is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man doesn't have a vehicle. He is the vehicle.
We have seen Wolverine's motorcycle in X-Men 97.
True.
So we could do it and we could probably do the thing with his face on the front of it. That would be
amazing.
The toy on the side. Yeah. I think
would love that.
That'd be fun. Batman, I've never really, they didn't do this in the DC collectibles line, but those wings that he has in the new animated.
Oh yeah, where he just powers up.
Yeah, it's a hang glider.
It's a Rome glider.
Yeah, it's a bat hang glider. And that would be cool. That's kind of a vehicle.
I agree.
I think that, and again, this it's probably not the only person asked for it. It's you guys did such a great job with the Bruce Timm aesthetic. It's I just feel there's just so many other places to go. You know what I mean? It's you got. Obviously, this Batman Beyond, but there's Justice League, and there's that guy's had his hand in so many different places.
Superman,
I still have. Do you guys have I got it when DC Direct shut their store down, but they sold a whole pack of Justice League figures.
Yeah.
And dude, I got it for nothing. It was Aquaman, Flash. It was all of them, and I remember going to the site. And dude, it was a steal. I think for $40, I got the whole fucking Justice League. And then I
think I paid that just for Batman because I did when you had to sign up for their streaming service to get it.
Dude, it was a whole. Doell, did you get that? It was
no, because they don't ship. DC doesn't ship to Canada. Their DC store.
Okay, yeah, it was through DC Direct. And it was so funny, a few weeks before that, I got the Arkham Asylum 4-pack. I don't know if Alex you got that.
Oh, don't even get me. No.
My Renee Montoya's right over there.
Yes, it was the only Montoya, the only Officer Montoya that you could get, okay, unless McFarlane, who the fuck knows, okay? He might...
I don't want the McFarlane one, though. Even if he re-releases it, I don't want that one. It's going to be shiny.
I guess I'm a sucker because I got a Condiment King. I just love that aesthetic. I love the Bruce Timm aesthetic so much that I went in, I got the build because I wanted to add to, and they fit well together, but I got the Condiment King. I got, Lockup.
Yep.
I'm going to get that fucking Hercules, but
I know, and the Bruce Wayne, right? But it's but
I'm going to wait till they go on sale.
Dude, I can't buy all those figures again because I don't know what I would do with them just to get the Build-A-Figure.
I will tell you what I did. I sold off my figures for that first wave. When I got that Condiment King, I sold off Batman, Robin, and I sold them off at a good time to somebody. And I technically only paid maybe $25 for the Condiment King. Once all was said and done, because I'm so sick with that line. That's why I'm just Bruce Timm. It's such an icon. That art style was so integral, and I love it. And I love how you guys translated it too, Alex. So I'm just anything that's in that style,
I'm obsessed with Bruce Timm. This is a good way to just quickly interject my religious experience at New York Comic Con. I happen to be walking by the best tables there. I think it's Albert Moy is the art dealer, but it's like just binders full of original comic art, like just the pages, like just like you're just thumbing through them, and it's like, you know, $40,000. It's like, should I really be like manhandling this? Like, what the hell? I'm gonna back away. But at any rate, there was this little binder about like, you know, this size on the table, full of Bruce Timm sketches, character designs. A lot of it was from, he did a like kind of a jam piece with Eric Larson called Kung Fu Bible Stories. It was like a comic, and like the first story is all drawn by Bruce Timm, and Bruce Timm's like comic art is the best. Like, he is such a good draftsman, like Kirby-esque, and this is like this gigantic like geeky war that's like the entire Marvel universe versus the entire DC universe, but it's all kind of like parody versions of all the characters. And Bruce Timm is just like designing all of them. It's like very Mad Magazine. So this album had all of his like character designs for all those characters in that book, and it was just beautiful. Some of his like ballpoint pen, you know, sketches. Like he had a doodle drawn on like the script from one of the like straight to Blu-ray like DC movies that he's like the producer on those things. So it was some, I can't remember what movie it was, but it wasn't like in his style or anything. But he had drawn a doodle in the margins of the script. That was awesome. It was insane. Yeah, like his work is like next level. So.
Okay.
What did I say? I said Hercules. Sorry, Zeus.
Zeus.
I got excited. Okay?
Oh yeah. No, it's funny because I knew exactly. Yeah, I knew exactly who you were talking about, which is even funnier. I didn't even correct. I was like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Because you're talking about the Justice League figures. It was always bummed me out we never got Justice League Unlimited, because I always wanted the Green Arrow figure. So I'm really hoping Mondo does get the Justice League eventually, because I'm with Posable Productions on this one. I'd kill for a Mondo Justice League Unlimited Black Canary.
The hairstyle, you know.
Dude, it's not just Black Canary. I need Black Canary, Green Arrow, The Question, and Huntress. Yeah. I need the double date set. I would burn down an orphanage to get those figures. I'm not really going to burn down an orphanage. Nobody get mad.
I mean, can you empty out the orphanage first?
Yeah, I will empty out the orphanage. I will rebuild them a better orphanage, and then I will build that orphanage down. I'll make sure.
I like that.
Okay.
Joel's turning into the Heath Ledger Joker over the.
Oh yeah. Why is everyone so serious? That's my delivery. It's a very guys. Why are you so serious? I'm just a dog chasing cars, you know. I don't remember any of his other lines. Oh, let's put a smile on that face, huh? Guys, serious. But no, I'm with you on that. Black Canary, please.
Yeah.
Please. And Johnny Cock here too. Oh man, an entire X-Men line done in Bruce Timm or Shane Glines styles. God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Shane Glines would be like, he'd be pretty dope on X-Men. Like,
man, are any of you following him on Instagram?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Everything
amazing.
It's so
talk
good.
about good Black Canary, like
Black
Canary designs.
Dude.
Cool.
Okay. And speaking of X-Men, let's get into this, and then we're going to call it quits for tonight. Then we'll do our plugs. But I do want to just quickly bring this one up too.
Oh.
Because we did talk about him a little bit.
Hey,
look at that. Look at that chest.
Oh.
Right? The Wolverine. It is related to Dolverine.
Yeah.
But this one gets the
They got your arms.
Yeah.
It's got the Alex Brewer arms.
Oh, one arm is based on my arm, and the other arm is based on Ryan's arm.
I like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And but we have matching elbows. They both have the double joint elbows.
Yeah, I mean that's how my elbow looks. It's all like
that's how my elbow looks too. So we're like, let's just go with it.
Fun fact: Ryan's elbow is articulated. It's weird.
My chest is articulated. My rib cage. It's perfect.
People don't and what we're looking at here is a Paint Master fresh off the work table of Tom Rzyzkowski, Zelu 1984, who also does all of our like Batman the Animated Series paint master, except for Clayface. That was Hector painted that one, but he does a ton of our animated stuff, and so this is his work, and he nails it all.
He's another superstar.
Yeah,
dude, this is very exciting. Again, having the Sentinel bases, I think that's amazing. I think this one is going to be another one of those bloodbath pre-orders. Because
I mean, he comes when you guys see all the extras. I mean, we showed the extras at San Diego,
right? The bear torso, and
he comes with a bear torso, and like
that bear torso is a oof. That's
because
that's a spicy one.
I can't wait. Like I know he has like it's the bear torso and then like kind of like a ripped shirt piece from X-Men 97 but I want to put the like bear torso on with the masked head and do like a Wolverine and Deadpool like ending shot.
Yeah. Now we're talking because like again, like people were complaining to Hasbro all the time and Toy Biz was getting it too back in the late 1900s, as I call it. And people would just be, why is there a Wolverine in every wave? Why is there a Wolverine in every wave? Now it's like people, if you did not make a Wolverine in a wave in these last 2 years, people will get mad. Where is this Wolverine?
Right.
We're still waiting for this Wolverine. Now every Wolverine is the top selling character in that wave, especially since 97. And then this year 60th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So it's been bonkers. And I got a feeling this one, just like, Rogue and Batman Beyond, I think this one's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be myself and Hatter and Ryan Ting sitting at the phone 5 minutes to being like, I'm about to have diarrhea due to anxiety.
Dude, I got anxiety. I got anxiety trying to get that symbiote Spider-Man, dude. I was on the road. I had to drive back to LA, and I literally like pulled over in front of like a Jack in the Box or something, and I was like 5 minutes before, and I'm like, oh my god, I better not.
Yeah.
Like,
so I got a feeling this is going to be that.
Yeah, when it's certainly when it's like limited to 1,000, it's a popular character. I wouldn't mess around. I play it safe.
Yeah.
But
for anyone who got the symbiote Spider-Man and also got Batman Beyond, can you please take photos of them together? Because I really want to see it.
I couldn't get Batman Beyond, but I know somebody that did, so maybe we can combine forces.
Is his name Johnny New Toys?
No, that guy will not buy.
He won't buy Mondo anymore. He's over.
Nothing that's not like a beautiful woman that he can put like on a
That's true, hey? Yeah. That's true. Yeah, right. Symbiote Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I wasn't fucking around, man. I was like, I gauged the exit. I'm like, there's an exit coming up because it was gonna be like another hour till I got to LA. I just pulled over. I got some egg rolls, and I'm like, I'm sitting in the fucking car, and I'm getting, and then beep beep beep, and then the good thing about these like sellouts is they tend not to happen in seconds, but they happen in minutes. So like, if you can get in, if you want it bad enough,
you'll get it.
10 minutes, 20 minutes is enough time for, if you remember, for anybody to get it if you really, really, really needed it.
Yeah, just subscribe to the Mondo newsletter. Always like pay attention to the website because like you don't want to
or pay attention to this channel because we'll always give you a heads up when something's coming too.
Just follow the right people.
Yeah, and I know that Rogue sold out in 5 minutes. That was insane. That was stressful. That one was
Rogue was fucking stressful, dude.
I had the toy sweats because it was that one where it's like, this is the one. This is the 1 in 31. This is Brock Lesnar beating the Undertaker. I need this.
And I was sweating for, like I said, Ryan, for the opposite reason. I was like, oh God, please let this be the one. Please let this don't have this sit on the site. Like
oh man.
Rogue was the one that created a ripple effect because then what happened is after Rogue sold out, Jubilee all of a sudden like sold out. Like
Gambit
it started to, and then Gambit. Well, yeah, the Gambit I think was the first thing to sell because everybody was like, I gotta pay. Dude, even retailers like my buddy Ralph who runs Toy Stalker, he's like, dude, I can't keep the Gambits in. Like because you know, Gambit was not as exclusive or fail as Rogue. Not that not that the Rogue, like any version of the Rogue is good, but like a lot of people were like, I'm fine with the Gambit, the regular version Gambit. So that thing was selling out. And then sure enough, like people just moved over to Jubilee because that Jubilee is also a very slept on, you know, figure. She's small. She fits the scale. She's the best Jubilee. So like that started to affect. And then everything just started get like not.
The Sabretooths, the Magnetos, everything started to go. But the whole thing is people, I still feel like Mondo was under the radar until all of a sudden Rogue and Tila showed up at Comic-Con. And we all just went, hold up, Mondo?
Dude, I had so many people asking me for like, do you have better pictures for like, you know, like this close up? And you know how my pictures normally suck. It's like I'm just in there just to fucking. It's like don't go to me for like the most beautiful photography. But I had a bunch of people like, oh, do you have an angle, this and that? And I'm like, you fucking perverts. You
Everybody wanted to see the butt, man.
Photos of that. Just say that that's what you want. They try to like be cute about it. Like if you have some front shots, but if you got some shots on the, I know what you want. I know what you want.
Just want to make sure like the back of the jacket is right.
Yeah. I want to make sure the belt hangs just right. I need to see it. Granger Perry, was Deadpool in the X-Men animated series ever? Would you ever consider making?
He was in the figures? He was in the animated series. Yeah, in like a Wolverine flashback kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like he's
that counts, Alex.
Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
Actually, technically, I think anything that's in the Art of book does technically count. Does it not? I think
so. Yeah. Should.
For those who don't know, the showrunners for X-Men 97 were told you can use anybody but Deadpool, which I think is like the dumbest fucking thing Marvel could have done. Where it's like, why?
Yeah, they're particular about like, you know,
or were they worried that a rated R movie was coming out and they didn't want kids to go? Like hey, guess what, Marvel? Kids are watching Deadpool movies. You can slap rated R on it all you want. Kids are watching them. Grow up.
Dude, I take my kid every Friday to this thing with like toddlers, and there are boys with Deadpool backpacks. Give me a break, okay?
Give me a break. Yes, I'm with you on that. Grow up, Marvel. Do better. Let us have our Deadpool in our animated series. I know you're watching this. Don't act like you're not.
Marvel.
Right? There's a reason why Todd won't talk to me because he watches this show too.
Because I think Bo DeMeo also said that like Cassandra Nova was off limits, obviously since the villain. So like, you know, they early on they kind of wanted to do something with her, but yeah, it must just be because they don't want somebody else to like define the character if they want to introduce it over here.
You know what?
Like, you know,
Ryan Reynolds doesn't own the character.
Canada does.
Canada does. Grow up. I say it's okay. Let him do it.
Yeah.
I will fist fight you, Bob Iger. I will fist fight you, bare knuckled, in Canada, in the snow.
I heard that guy can scrap though.
Well, I'd hope so. He's got $1 billion on the line if he loses. All right.
I imagine he's like Henry Cavill in like the Mission Impossible where he like kind of like cocks his
he pumps his arms.
Wolverine versus Igerpool, is that what's happening? I'll fight him.
He fights like a Vega. He jumps on a fence and he climbs up and he leaps off.
I hope he does. Marlo Brandon, Wolverine 2.0 looks incredible. I agree. Can we please get a Batman 2.0 by Alex Brewer? Bruce Wayne.
Love it.
How come we never did that pun before? Because that's perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I've been sleeping on Bruce Wayne my whole life.
Yeah. God, dude. Well, we have it now. We have it now.
You just had a Kaiser Sose moment.
Yeah.
Drop my mud.
Okay, yeah, the people are Posable Productions. He seconds it.
If you, I had a lot of fun sculpting.
Hey, I will say, I will third that. I do love my Batman with flowing cape Mondo figure, but can you ever have too many Batmen? You know what I mean?
According to Todd, there's one for every day of the year.
That's what I'm saying. Also, that character has such a great range of facial expressions.
Oh yeah,
that are untapped. That I'm sure, Alex, your brain's already probably going this one and this one and that one.
Yeah.
So
An interchangeable cape where the cowl is down and hanging off.
Oh, dude,
yeah,
the Bruce Wayne head.
So much like emotional photography with like a Batman with the right fucking. He's sitting.
Well,
there, like,
even if you did multiple Bruces, one where it's like Bruce brooding and thinking, and you could do another one of Bruce like kind of sad, and one with Bruce smirking. You could do.
Yes. I got a cosign Granger Perry's Catwoman 2.0 too. Like again, it's like there are things I appreciate about the Catwoman Mondo, but I feel like maybe something.
It was early days on the line.
Early days,
feeling
early
it
days,
out.
You know what I mean? Like plus it's not very gettable.
No, the Catwoman is still on the. You can get her on the website like now.
Well, I have you can't get the exclusive version, and that one has like the cats or whatever. That was sitting on the website for the longest time, and I finally pulled the trigger, and then now it's gone. If you want the exclusive, but like I wouldn't mind that when I got that Phantasm and I got that extra torso. That's when I was like, man, a Selena Kyle updated, I think would kill it.
I would love to do Catwoman with Selena Kyle head.
Another Selena Kyle would be great, and it would be awesome if they were kind of like paired, kind of like if you did Red Claw and then a couple months later a new Catwoman, right? Like to have.
I will say this. I don't know if Peter's in the thing. I harassed him on text for Red Claw. I was like, hey,
Red Claw would be sick. Like
I said something on Red Claw, and he's like, "Are you high?" Because I guess I didn't form the question. Peter's old fucking pedantic. And I was like, "No, I'm not." And or maybe I am, but a Red Claw, a big mommy Red Claw, okay, because it was never done in the other animated line, and she's such a fan favorite, okay. If I have a feeling it would you can metric it like Omega Red. If Omega Red could like be like this niche like thing that sells like 1,000 pieces or whatever, I feel like you can get enough people to get a Red Claw because she's like this like so under the radar, but she's so iconic. But it's like where's her representation?
Yeah,
it's
never been done.
She didn't even get in the DC Direct line, which was also a shocker. Like
neither did Old School Penguin, which bothers me too. So I hope that Mondo rectifies that.
Or Rupert Thorne. Rupert Thorne was another one that didn't get in DC Direct.
A lot of these like Rupert Thorne, I can see why, because like all in all, he's a human villain. But like
I know, but
Penguin, like you don't do like an original. Like they did the remake BT, like the New Adventures BTAS.
It's the other way around. They did the original Penguin.
Maybe I flipped it. Okay,
they never did the like kind of Burgess Meredith like redesign. And they never did the second Mad Hatter. They never did the redesigned Clayface. Like
the redesigned Hatter's so good too.
Yeah.
Tony
Roxy Rocket.
Yeah, a Roxy Rocket. Although they did have a Roxy Rocket for these.
But it was. But I feel like the bot, like it was a little too small. Like it was like the bot. It didn't feel like Roxy Rocket. Like I would love to do like
a 1/6 scale Roxy Rocket, but she has to have a removable jacket.
Yeah,
she has to be rocking that black tank
for that end scene. Or they're gonna crash into the cliff.
A gray ghost, you know what I mean? Like
gray ghost.
Get like a gray ghost, and then you can play with like shadowy noir things on your. Like that's such a pulp. Like that's such a pulp design.
Also, if you're gonna do the gray ghost, that's another one that could do for an alternate torso. Like Phantasm, where it's like you still have the gray pants, but then you have him in like his suit jacket, and then like
Simon Trent
head, right?
Yeah. There you go.
With his like memorabilia, his like shelf of.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was like
memorabilia.
And then he's got his toy tuber villain.
Yeah. So that toy man is like a Bruce Timm caricature and it's like Bruce Timm does the voice, I believe. So like that'd be a way of getting like Bruce Timm in the like that episode is when I knew, like, even as a little kid, that I was like a born collector, because I was like just looking at the like shelf of this and like the fact that Batman had his shrine, and I was like, oh, that is so heartbreaking that he'd have to sell his like memorabilia, and then like Bruce Wayne bought it back for him. It was like, even as a little kid, that was like, I was getting chills like watching it.
The fact that Bruce Wayne was just like, I love Grey Ghost, I'm gonna buy that whole toy collection right now. I'm like, dude, he's one of us. Bury your trauma and collecting. It works.
Love it. So Clock King, Plausible Productions said Clock King. Well, he said Clock King needs to happen in McFarlane form, but that's also a good.
Yeah.
And that's one where it's like, that's like Riddler is pretty much like you're already there. Like, just, you know, like it's amazing that they never did just like a quick Riddler repaint for Clock King, you know?
I know. Dude. Yeah, that's true. You could probably reuse
a lot of those parts. Yeah. I love listing. But yeah, dude, we need all of that.
Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul in his suit, Ubu.
Oh my god, man. Dude. Okay. Again,
what a show.
Yeah, this is I love this. I do. But we got to get rolling. We've been doing this. We did another 2-hour episode.
It's going to become Gotham City this morning if we.
Yes, I know.
Gotham morning.
Let's do another 2 hours, guys. We can do it.
One day we should do a Good Morning Gotham, like when we both have like a weekday off and do a.
Yeah.
And we'll go up against Johnny and Hatter when they're doing their like 6 a.m. bloody live streams.
Yeah.
Though it was fun jumping on while I was in Toronto and we were in the same time zone.
50% attacking each other and taking shots, and then 50% talking about toys.
And then the last half is like, you know what? I actually really love those guys. That's how it goes. I'm going to do a quick plug here. We've got Alice's comic, All Haven Academy, up on webtoons.com. That's linked down below because you're wondering where she's been. Again, work and this comic has been kicking her ass. She's got deadlines galore, but I talk to her often enough where she's just like, I promise I'm coming back. And I'm like, do what you need to do. This is just a fun stream. Focus on what you need to. Don't worry, you'll be back. I'm not too worried. So don't be sure to check that out. It's really good. And if you have an iPad or an iPhone, that's the best way to read the comic. It's so good. And she's crazy, insane, talented. So yeah, be sure to just check out the comic. Tell us what you think. Hatter, you're the guest. Where can people find you?
You can find me at the Mad Hatter review channels, where we talk about friendly things. Everything is positive. Okay.
You say that jokingly, and I know you're trying to be like some like kind of tongue in cheek there, but I will say this: even when you are giving criticisms, you're not a dick about it. There's something about the way you say it where it's just like, yeah, I agree, and I'm glad he's pointing this out, but you're doing it from a place of love where it's like, here's some improvements, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not. I still bought it and I still enjoy it, but here's just a couple things. I like how you do it. Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I try not to have an axe to grind.
Right.
With like, let's go, like
because we're talking about toys.
Within every toy company there exists artists, and I do understand that a lot of times it is a struggle between the artist and what the corporate might be doing. And most of the times it's the corporate or something that, but I am a fan of art, and come to the Mad Hatter review channel. You can see some art. You can see some original properties. I got this little cutie in, this little Catcha bot. I got a sample, so I'm going to be reviewing him.
I like him.
That's so awesome.
That solves all his captchas, and his mouth opens, okay, and you could put contraband in there, guys. So let's say you cross over to Canada, you're afraid you're going to get checked. You put everything you need to here. You'd be like, no, I got this. There's a YouTuber that made these toys, and there's nothing in here, and they look at it and they go, oh, okay, cool, and they let you in. Okay, so you can see that too. That's going to be the next episode. But yeah, come to the Mad Hatter Review channel. I love both these guys. I'm big fans of what they do and this and that, and genuine fan of toys in general. Is that a plug? Is that plugging enough, Ryan? Is that okay?
That's a good plug.
Yeah, I'll just quickly further the plug. I like one of the rare channels where I actually laugh out loud at your content. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there in front of my computer laughing and feeling weird, but like amazing. Yeah, so funny.
I appreciate it.
You are my mom's favorite toy tuber.
My mom
did
too.
Did you know that? I'm actually Dole's mom's favorite toy tuber person.
I think you're the official toy tuber of moms.
I'll take it.
Dude, you have to put that somewhere.
Hide your moms, everybody.
Yeah. Hatter's going live. Yeah. Alex, let's plug you. There's I was gonna say let's check out Spider-Man, but he's sold out.
He's sold out.
There's nothing to buy. Go to Scarecrow.
There's we've got our like winter sale going on from now until the end of the year. So you can, depends on how much you spend, but you can get, up to like $35 off your order. So
Ghostbusters are still up there.
The Ghostbusters are still up there, both versions. Yep. So like that window to get the Peter and Sam Hain 2-pack is that ends the 26th. So that is the time is running out to get Sam Hain.
Yep.
So if you've been on the fence, you're like waiting to the last minute. Like, I know how it is. Like,
trust me,
don't forget, because then you won't be able to get him. Like you'll still be able to get Peter Venkman on his own, but you will not be able to get Sam Hain again. And it's Sam Hain. Like, come on.
I don't usually do this. Do not buy the Joker Maury 2-pack. Right? Save yourself $50 and get yourself Peter Venkman and Sam Hain. All right.
If you get the Joker Maury 2-pack instead of that, well, I guess you can be a fan of one and not the other. I was going to say, that you got to get your head checked. But yes, if $200 is much better, well spent, I think. On the dude, we're finally getting cartoon accurate RGB.
Right? Finally. I'm with you
after a long time. But yeah, and that's true. All of our stuff. Like if you watch Mad Hatter's review of our Ninja Turtles, we got our Ninja Turtles on there. The sale applies there. If you're looking at that Wolverine and you're thinking, oh, maybe I might want to jump in on X-Men, maybe. Well, you'll never be able to get Sabretooth for cheaper than right now. And also Christmas is coming up. The stuff that we have like in stock on our site like could make good gifts or good gift suggestions for
Sabretooth. Still in stock?
Sabretooth's still in stock. Gambit is still in stock, but he was almost gone last time I checked. So limited supply.
If I were you, I would jump on Sabretooth, because I'll say this. I paired up my Sabretooth with the old Wolverine that I have now, and there is a slight differentiation, right? Like Sabretooth is slightly taller. However, this new Wolverine that's coming out is going to be shorter, so you can get that real nice. That's what I want, Alex. I want that like looking down, like, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm looking
for. He's a proper short king. I was like grabbing like Harley Quinn and being like, is this the right, feel, so yeah, it's definitely a shorter Wolvie.
But the regular Spider-Man. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying like I wouldn't sleep on Sabretooth because he is so good, but like now he'll have, once this new Wolverine comes out, the proper like height scale face to face Marvel vs. Capcom fucking thing that's
stick them in the snow, it's gonna be.
But a lot of the regular editions are still up. That's including Scarecrow, Venom, Spider-Man, Poison Ivy, Bane, Cyclops.
Oh, Cyclops, which those are shipping out now. I love.
Now's a good time to get Man-Bat as well, regular Man-Bat. So,
and also if you missed out on Batman Beyond, stay tuned. Like there's a regular release on the way. So if you missed out on the limited edition, there will be a chance to get Batman Beyond, the regular edition, in the future. Near
Very
future.
exciting. Very exciting.
So,
Cool. All right. Let's settle this thing up. All right. So I'm Ryan Doell. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Tuesday for Toy Anxiety. Thank you, Hatter, for being here. Thank you, Bruce Wayne. Alex
yeah.
Amazing stuff. So thank you everyone at the stream too. Good audience tonight as well. And thank you for all the questions and being part of the show. And we will see you next week.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.